Am I the jerk for hosting someone who's not from here and she doesn't think I'm being considerate? My sister, a 20-year-old female, and I, a 22-year-old female, live together in an apartment. Last summer, we traveled out of the country and met someone from the United Kingdom. He, a 19-year-old male, had never been to America before and asked if he could stay with us for 2 weeks. We both agreed and thought it would be a fun time. Fast forward a year later, he arrived in America. We both went to pick him up from the airport and spent the day with him. The first day with him was fine, and then on the second day, we decided to go out to the river to go swimming. I did not feel like swimming that day, so he and my sister went out to swim while I sat back and watched. It started raining, so I decided to walk into the forest where I wouldn't get wet. My sister saw this as me ditching them and leaving her to hang out with him alone. I did not mean for it to come off this way at all. I just enjoy doing my own thing by myself. That was the first sign of her being angry with me. We both have to work every day, and the guy knows this. My sister is stressed about it because she feels bad that he is sitting in our apartment alone. We do not live in New York City, but there are things you can walk to in the city we live in. I told her not to worry about him and that he can find things to do on his own since he is a grown adult, but she does not agree with me and thinks I am not considering his feelings. Another incident that happened was one night we all decided to go out to a rave. I agreed to it before my closing shift at the bar. I am a bartender. But once I got off, I was second-guessing going and was very tired. I really tried to push through because I knew how badly they all wanted to go. When we got to the place, I told them, "Hey, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not in the mood to go out. I can drop you guys off and pick you up later." My sister and the guy said okay, and I dropped them off. Later, my sister told me this made her angry and that I should not have left her alone to hang out with him. She said I should have taken one for the team and pushed through the hangout because I agreed to host him with her. Apparently, she did not want to go out either but pushed through because the guy really wanted to and could not go alone. She thinks I am being inconsiderate of his feelings and that I am leaving her to be the main host of his visit. I am naturally an introverted person who needs alone time to recharge, and I feel like she does not understand where I am coming from. If I need to take time for myself, I am going to do it regardless of what is going on. Does that make me the asshole? You're not an asshole for not dropping everything to entertain your guest, but you are the jerk here, OP, for not planning better and communicating with your sister. If your introverted nature makes it hard to spend a lot of time with someone, that should have been discussed before he arrived. You should have coordinated your schedule with your sister and figured out how much time each of you could realistically spend with the guest. It's important to work as a team to ensure everyone's comfort and to make sure your guest knew what to expect. Am I the jerk for renegotiating a verbal deal to buy my brother-in-law's kitchen? My wife and I, along with our 2 young children, were looking for an apartment to rent early this year since our current lease wouldn't be renewed past the end of June. Finding an apartment in our city is extremely challenging, but luckily, we found my wife's brother Peter's apartment available for rent starting July 1st. Peter agreed to recommend us to his landlord but wanted us to buy his kitchen and appliances for €5,000 before doing so. This kind of arrangement isn't technically legal but not uncommon either. We agreed, thinking it was worth it to secure the apartment, avoid double rent, and help out family. In May, we visited Peter and he informed us that their move-out date might be delayed. He said they might need the apartment for an extra 2 weeks to 2 months. Despite asking for a precise date to arrange alternative accommodation, he couldn't give us one. They had a new lease starting September 1st but hoped to move earlier. By late June, Peter indicated they might need the apartment even longer, essentially asking us to take over the rent whenever they moved out to avoid paying double rent. My wife was furious, pointing out that Peter was making his problem our problem. Then, the landlord offered us a rental contract starting August 1st, so we arranged temporary accommodation for July. This included a €500 stay in a hotel and then staying in an unfurnished apartment. Peter later confirmed they'd move out between mid-July and August 1st. We insisted that if there was any overlap, they'd cover our temporary rent, which he agreed to since it was cheaper than his current rent. In early July, Peter said we could move our belongings into the apartment on July 30th, the last day of our temporary rental. He is getting the keys to his new place on the 27th, but moving his stuff on the 31st. However, he then told us there wasn't enough room in their apartment and suggested storing our things in the attic on the 5th floor instead of the apartment on the 1st floor, making it much harder for us. I was extremely upset. We had been very accommodating, but Peter's actions felt inconsiderate. My wife was also angry. We haven't finalized the kitchen purchase and are now considering renegotiating the deal. The original agreement was just verbal and not legally binding. My wife wants to request receipts and determine the current market price, while I'm leaning towards having them remove the kitchen entirely and getting something from IKEA. You are not the one at fault for renegotiating. Peter clearly broke the terms of the original agreement first, making it null and void. He has shown that his priorities don't include you or your family. Do what's best for your situation, and if he brings up the agreement, remind him of all the ways he failed to adhere to it. It's not your problem if he needs to sell his used kitchen appliances. Focus on securing your new place first. Am I the jerk for staying home from a planned family weekend getaway? This all just happened in the past few hours. My husband, who is 37 years old, myself, who is 35 years old, and our 2 children, who are 8 and 6 years old, were supposed to travel out of state to spend the weekend at his mother's lake house. One of my husband's cousins is there with his family, and they have 2 children the same age as ours. My husband has been really looking forward to seeing his cousin because they haven't seen each other in over a year, and they are really close. I've had a rough time the past few weeks. I have been struggling with my mental health for a while, and I'm seeing a therapist for depression and also on medication. We had a work meeting earlier this week, and they announced upcoming layoffs, so everyone is on edge at work. I also got news the other day that my aunt was diagnosed with cancer. Then, last night, I discovered that my thighs and torso are covered in chigger bites from a hike I took with some friends the other day. It looks like I have chickenpox and I feel itchy and gross. All I want to do this weekend is stay home. The last thing I want to do is go to a lake and have to put on a swimsuit when I look like this. I am also just not in a good place to socialize or be around people, even if they are family who I love. My husband took today off work so he could get us ready to go to beat traffic. I could only take a half day, so I went to work this morning. My boss told my department that our team could be cut by up to 40%, though they just don't know who it will be yet. I am freaking out. I texted my husband about it right after my boss told us, and he responded with, "Sounds like a great excuse to get to the lake ASAP and start relaxing to take your mind off things." By the time I got home, I really just didn't want to go. When I got home and explained to him that I feel like I need to stay home, he just said, "Fine, stay home," and kept tacking the car. I tried to apologize to him and give my reasons for wanting to stay home, and he cut me off and said, "I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do, but I do need you to know that I'm frustrated and upset that now my weekend is going to be much more difficult because of this, and I don't really feel like talking about this right now." He packed the car faster than I've ever seen him do before and rushed the children and dog into the car while I was fighting off tears. He didn't even give me a hug or a kiss before they left. I called my sister to vent because I was so upset and needed to talk to someone. She told me that she doesn't really blame him because this has been planned for a while, and I'm backing out at the very last minute. I've tried calling and texting my husband, but he won't answer or respond even though I know his phone is connected to his car. Right now, I'm just at a very low point, and I feel like he's being completely unsupportive of what I need and only thinking of himself. There are no jerks here, OP. You did what you needed to do for yourself, and he is allowed to be frustrated and annoyed by that. It sounds like you're choosing to do what's best for your mental health, but you need to recognize that your husband has a right to his feelings too. Let him get to the lake, settle in, and then talk. It will only go better for you if he is more relaxed and has had some time to let the immediate frustration subside. Am I the jerk for not taking one of our friends on a graduation trip to Europe? I am going to be a senior this year. I have been part of a close friend group of myself and 5 other girls since our freshman year. Another girl, Sarah, joined our group at the beginning of this year. She hangs out with us at school, but not much outside of school. We do invite her to activities, but her mother is strict and does not always let her go. We have not had the chance to get super close to her as a result. We are planning a trip to Europe for 2 months next summer after we graduate. We were planning to include Sarah since she will be an adult by then, and her mother cannot stop her, but we have been having some issues. Her mother does not want her to go, so she is not giving her any money. Her budget is much lower than the rest of us. We would have to either cut costs somehow or pay for part of Sarah's expenses. We have been planning this trip since our freshman year, and Sarah's budget does not fit our plan. She is also not really fit enough to do everything we want to do, like walking tours and hiking. We have tried to work out a solution, but nothing really works. Sarah suggested going somewhere cheaper like Latin America or Southeast Asia, but we do not want to change our years-old plan for her. We offered to cover her accommodations, but there is really not much we can do for her since we do not have unlimited budgets either. We offered some other solutions to make the trip cheaper, but she honestly just does not fit into the plans we have had for years. She wants a vacation and we want to travel. The things she wants to do not fit any of our budgets. She mainly wants to go to super touristy places like in Italy and Greece and relax, while we want to see as much as we can at a much faster pace. Eventually, we told her that her budget and plans do not really fit with ours and we would be going without her. This was last week, and she has been completely silent in the group chat and did not come to hang out with us at all since then until today. We were at my house this morning and she said she feels left out. She feels like we never fully accepted her because she was not able to hang out with us as much because of her mother, and now we are leaving her out of this trip because of her financial situation. She started crying and said that she has never had a close-knit friend group and thought this might be her chance to have one, but we never accepted her. That is not true at all. We tried to accept her and we include her in everything. It is not our fault that she cannot come to hang out with us most of the time or that she cannot afford to go on this trip. She left first and has not said anything despite all of us texting her both in the group chat and privately. We sort of feel bad for excluding her from this trip, but we have been planning this for a long time and do not want to ruin it. Are we the assholes? You did nothing wrong here. The group has been planning this trip for years and can't be expected to change everything just to accommodate someone new. It's fair to invite Sarah and even offer to cover some costs, but it's understandable if her budget and plans don't align with the group's. It's unfortunate that her circumstances limit her, but the blame doesn't lie with the group. At the end of the day, it's important to stick to the plans that everyone has been looking forward to for so long. Would I be the asshole if I refused to help my sibling with their baby if they moved back into our parents' house? I, a 29-year-old male, am currently living with my parents, my 68-year-old mother and my 71-year-old father. I am disabled both cognitively and physically. I am on benefits due to my inability to work as a result of my disabilities. I have a twin sister who is also 29 years old. She has a 1.5-month-old son with her fiancé, who is 34 years old. My sister and her fiancé got engaged almost 3 months ago. My sister gave birth to their son just over 1 month after they got engaged. Her fiancé already has 2 other children from 2 other women, his 8-year-old daughter and his son, who is either 13 or 14 years old. I cannot remember which age. He sees his daughter regularly, but his son does not want anything to do with him. They have been living together for almost 11 months now. Her fiancé absolutely worships the ground that she walks on. He would do anything for her, except for refusing to stop drinking. He does not drink much usually, but when he does not know how to stop at all. When he gets home from a night out, which has only happened 2 or 3 times since they moved in together, they fight. Our mother admitted my sister winds him up on purpose whenever he is drunk. There was a time when they were very close to breaking up, but they worked it out in the end. Tonight, her fiancé was invited by one of his good friends to go out for drinks. He wanted to go, and my sister let him. Shortly afterward, she phoned our mother, saying that she is frustrated that he has gone out to drink, and that she does not trust him because he does not know how to stop drinking. She was literally up all day looking after their son. She was hoping that he was going to stay and look after him while she rests, but that went out the window. This is the first time that this has happened since she gave birth. I am not sure that she will break up with him because of it, as it is only the first time that this has happened since their son's birth. However, I dread to think what will happen if they do break up because of it. It is completely certain that she would kick him out of the house, and she and her son would move back into our parents' house. I have never been good at falling asleep or going back to sleep when there is noise due to me having a stronger sense of hearing than most people. I also know that if she moved back into our parents' house with her baby, I would be expected to help out with him every single day. I do not want children for several reasons, including my disabilities. My parents only recently became understanding of my boundaries after previously accusing me of being selfish for not helping out. If they were to move back in, my parents would no longer be respectful or understanding of my boundaries and would accuse me of being a very selfish person once again. Your sister's baby isn't your responsibility, and it's a fair boundary to impose if it's something you don't want to do. Moving back into your parents' house could mean being expected to help out every single day, which isn't fair. It's completely okay to set boundaries, especially when you have your own reasons, including disabilities, for not wanting children. Why worry about a scenario that isn't even happening yet? Am I the jerk for not letting my roommate's cat come out of their bedroom? So I, a 23-year-old female, and my girlfriend, a 22-year-old female, live together with our roommates, who are also a 23-year-old female and a 22-year-old female. Recently, a lot has happened between my girlfriend, the roommates, and me. The reason they started living with us was that they got kicked out and were going to be homeless, so we said they could stay with us. Also, my girlfriend and the roommate go way back to high school. Everything was fine with them. My cat, a 3-year-old female, has anxiety and behavior issues. I've decided to get her anxiety medication and reintroduce her to my other cat, a 4-year-old male. Doing this would mean I would have to keep her locked in our bedroom and perform slow introductions. This process could take 2 weeks to 2 months. Their cat, a 6-year-old female, would go feral for our cats and non-stop attack them. So we compromised on having all our cats locked up in our bedroom for an hour every day to let her out. Now, here's the issue. My girlfriend said that for 1 to 2 months, their cat can't come out until my cat can be nice to others and not be so anxious. We're making our bedroom her safe space and can't keep throwing the other cats in there because it messes with the whole process. They then got very defensive and said it's not fair to their cat. We replied, well, our cat is also going to be locked up too. It's not fair either way. We kept trying to explain to them why we needed to do this, but they couldn't understand. They came to me crying and shaking and asked, what did we do? Why is she doing this to us? I told them, we're not doing this because we hate you. We're doing this because we need to have a better quality of life without our cats attacking each other. I was trying to be reasonable with them because they were so upset it made me feel bad. My girlfriend walked out while they were talking to me. I left the room because I felt trapped. My girlfriend tried to explain many times why we had to do it this way. They then exploded on my girlfriend when she told them, I don't care, after the roommate kept trying to talk over her and started raising their voice. They stomped away, slammed the door, and screamed, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch! They have not talked to us since. They apologized to me over text but not to my girlfriend. So, am I the asshole? I'm willing to provide more information or context as needed. It's understandable to want to acclimate the cats to each other, But the real issue is whether these roommates are paying rent. They were allowed to stay when they were homeless, so keeping a cat in the room for a month or two isn't too much to ask. If they can't respect that, it might be time to find them a new housing situation. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.